I want to have a quick conversation with you about cloud computing. And cloud computing actually has grown in prominence in the last few years. And there are ways to actually go about the whole concept and actually save money big time. So here are the generalities I want you to really pay attention to. Let's first define what cloud computing really is before we actually get into the nitty gritty. So if you think about cloud computing, think about the use of hosted services such as data storage, servers, databases, networking, and software over the internet. So that's really the gist of it. Okay, let me repeat that. If you think about cloud computing, think about a process that refers to the use of hosted services such as data storage, servers, databases, networking, and software over the internet. So the data actually is stored on physical servers, which are maintained by cloud service providers such as Amazon Web Services or Google Cloud Platform or even Microsoft. Okay, so computer system resources, especially data storage and computing power, are available on demand without direct management by the user in cloud computing. So that's kind of cool because it really help you. It helps you. This configuration helps you save money, resources, but also time in a very scalable manner. So let me talk to you. So you can see on the screen here is a cloud computing architecture that I want you to really familiarize yourself with. So instead of storing files on a storage device or hard drive, a user such as you or me can save them on cloud, making it possible to access the files from anywhere as long as they have access to the web. So that's kind of cool. Now the services hosted on cloud can be broadly divided into IaaS. So that's actually infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, the PaaS, and also software as a service, the SaaS. So based on the deployment model, cloud can also be classified as public, private, or hybrid. So it really depends on the kind of structure you want to have, okay? And so think about that. PaaS, SaaS, or IaaS, or private, public, or hybrid. Let me go a little further here. I want to really go into the nitty gritty, a little more granular. So, what are the types of cloud computing you can really pay attention to this year? The thing is that cloud computing can either be classified based on the deployment model or the type of service, right? So, based on the specific deployment model, you can really classify cloud as a public, private, or hybrid cloud. At the same time, it can be classified as the acronyms I gave you, right? IaaS, PaaS, and SaaS. Let me talk to you about I want to talk to you about private cloud. I want to talk to you about public cloud and also hybrid cloud. Let's first talk about private cloud. So what happens here is that in a private cloud, the computing services are offered over a private IT network for the dedicated use of a single organization. So this is also termed internal, enterprise, or corporate cloud. Okay. So if you hear the term internal cloud, it's the same thing as private cloud. If you hear enterprise cloud, it's the same thing as private cloud. So a private cloud is usually managed via internal resources and is not accessible to anyone outside the organization. So private cloud computing provides all the benefits of a public cloud, such as a self-service, scalability, and elasticity, along with additional control, security, and customization. So that's kind of cool. And even cooler, even better, private clouds provide a higher level of security through company firewalls and internal hosting to ensure that your organization's sensitive data is not accessible to, let's say, third-party providers. Now, the drawback of private cloud is that the organization becomes responsible, however, for all the management and maintenance of the data centers, which can prove to be quite resource intensive. Can take a lot of time. That's what I mean. Okay. What about public cloud? Well, public cloud refers to computing services offered by third-party services over the internet. So unlike private cloud, the services of on public cloud are available to anyone who wants to use or purchase them. And these services could be free or sold on demand, where users only have to pay per usage for the CPU cycles, storage, or bandwidth they actually consume. So public clouds can help businesses save on purchasing, managing, and maintaining actually on-premises infrastructure because the cloud service provider is responsible for managing the system. So that's really fantastic. And they also offer scalable RAM and flexible bandwidth, making it easier for businesses to scale their storage needs. So if you think about hybrid cloud, so hybrid cloud uses a combination of public and private cloud features. So this can be you can think of this as the best of both worlds. Okay, that's kind of cool. Let me talk to you about the IaaS, the PaaS, and the SaaS. Okay, so infrastructure as a service or IaaS is actually a type of cloud computing in which a service provider, such as Amazon Web Services, is actually responsible for providing servers, storage, and networking over a virtual interface. So everything happens over a virtual interface. In this service, the user doesn't need to manage the cloud infrastructure but has control over the storage, operating system, and deployed applications. So you are able to get things done in a streamlined manner, but also control the cost. So instead of the user, a third party vendor hosts the hardware, software, servers, storage, and other infrastructure components. The vendor also hosts the user's applications and maintains actually a backup. So that's actually the setup, the basic setup for an IaaS, let's say, structure, if you will. You also have the PaaS structure. So, platform as a service or PaaS is a type of cloud computing that provides a development and deployment environment in cloud that allows users like you and me to develop and run applications without the complexity of building or maintaining their infrastructure. And so, a PaaS provides users with resources to develop cloud-based applications. And in this type of service, a user purchases the resources from a vendor on a pay as you go basis and can access them over a secure connection. So that's kind of cool. And PaaS doesn't require users to manage the underlying infrastructure, that is, the network, servers, operating systems, or storage, but gives them control over the deployed applications. So this allows organizations to focus on the deployment and management of their applications by freeing them of the responsibility of software maintenance, planning, and resource procurement. You also have the SaaS. So SaaS or software as a service allows users to access a vendor's software on cloud on a subscription basis. In this type of cloud computing, users don't need to install or download applications on their local devices. Instead, the applications are located on a remote cloud network that can be directly accessed through the web or an API. And in the SaaS model, the service provider manages all the hardware, middleware, application software, and security. So, also referred to as hosted software or on demand software, SaaS makes it very easy for enterprises to streamline their maintenance and support. So let me talk to you about the value added here. So if you think about cloud computing, what's actually the value added? In other words, what are the key benefits and challenges for enterprises this year? If you have a business, whether you have a small business or large enterprise or even a small, let's say a medium-sized company, you need to understand that the most important reason why cloud computing is growing rapidly is the various benefits it offers across the board. And then it doesn't matter where you are at. Doesn't matter if you are you're running your business from a city or urban area or suburban area or even in a rural area. Okay, basically, cloud computing saves businesses the time and resources require to set up a full-fledged physical IT infrastructure. So you have benefits such as reduced costs, you have scalability, you have flexibility and collaboration, you have business continuity, and then you have competitive edge. So when I speak about reduced cost, well, basically maintaining IT systems requires big outlays of capital, something that cloud helps reduce. So by using the resources provided by the cloud provider, your business avoids the need to purchase expensive infrastructure, substantially reducing actually its expenditure. So cloud providers work on the pay-as-you-go model, which means what? It means that businesses only pay for the services they use, further reducing cost, okay? You have scalability, so cloud allows organizations to grow their users from merely a few to thousands in a very short time. So depending on the need, a business can scale their storage needs up or down, allowing organizations to actually be flexible big time. So speaking of flexibility, since the data on cloud can be accessed directly via the internet, it gives employees the ability to work from anywhere, anytime, and cloud gives the freedom to set up your virtual office anywhere you are. It also allows teams to work on a project across locations by giving them access to the same files as third-party vendors. Okay. You also have business continuity. So cloud safely stores and protects your data. So that's an important element. Protects your data, and in the event of an outage or crisis, this makes it easier to resume work once the systems are up and running again. So let me talk to you about the some of the challenges you might have when it comes to cloud computing. So when it comes to cloud computing, you have downtime, you have internet connection dependency, you have financial commitment, security risks, and you have limited access. So when I speak about downtime, almost every cloud user will tell you that outages tops their list of cloud computing challenges. At times what happens here is that cloud service providers may get overwhelmed due to the huge number of clients they provide services to every single day. And this may lead to technical outages due to which your applications may temporarily experience some downtime. And this happens all the time. You also have internet connectivity dependency because you as a user, you may not be able to access the data on cloud without a good internet connection and a compatible device. Moreover, using public Wi-Fi to access your files will actually pose a threat if the right security measures are not taken. You also have a financial commitment. In other words, cloud providers use a pay-as-you-go pricing model. However, your business needs to give a monthly or annual financial commitment for most subscription plans. This needs to be factored into your operating cost. Okay, if you are going to go with a cloud computing model, you also have security risks. So even if your cloud service provider promises you that they have the most reliable security certifications, there is always a chance of losing your data. And this happens again all the time, with hackers increasingly targeting cloud storage to get access to sensitive business data. This might be an even greater concern for which the appropriate measures need to be taken, especially in the long run. And you also have another element to think about. You have limited access, so a user may have minimal control since the cloud service provider owns and manages the infrastructure, and the user will only be able to manage applications and not the backend infrastructure. So crucial tasks such as firmware management may not be passed to the user at all. You always have to trust a third-party vendor to ensure security and take care of your data. So what are the trends here? If you think about cloud computing, what kind of trends I want you to really pay attention to this year? Well, let me share with you the top 10 cloud computing trends. The thing is, companies will spend more on public clouds in the wake of, in the post COVID era. Okay, so the public cloud has the fewest barriers to entry and is the most accessible for small businesses, startups, and independent professionals alike. So basically, what happens here is that after COVID, people realize that it's just better to go with a public cloud as opposed to a private cloud or even a hybrid cloud. And multi-cloud and hybrid cloud will help alleviate downtime worries. Okay, so that's an important element to think about. You also have container technology that will slowly but steadily gain in popularity. So containers actually offer an independent virtual environment to develop and run applications regardless of the parent hosting environment. So on-premise servers, cloud or hybrid. So essentially, a container allows companies to set up tiny, segregated clouds within their own infrastructure to improve their development capabilities. You also have virtual desktops that will become more commonplace and mainstream. So this is an important development. So virtual desktop infrastructure (VDI) lets you stream the desktop image remotely without coupling the desktop with a physical client device. So an important use case for VDI is actually remote worker productivity because applications and services can be easily deployed to a remote client without any complex installation or configuration. So this is really important from a flexibility point of view. Okay, and you also have the fact that security technologies will keep evolving actually to become more. They will become more cloud native and edge first. So a vital part of cloud evolution is actually the decentralization of remote hosting and processing through edge infrastructure. So while cloud was already an area of focus for cybersecurity providers, the edge is the risk is actually the edge is actually the next frontier. You also have communication and collaboration becoming more important. Cloud use cases. Okay, so one of the first priorities after the large scale shift to remote work during COVID was the modernization of communication and collaboration channels. Okay, cloud allows companies to connect remotely, facilitating both internal collaboration, and external customer engagement. So cloud-based tools allow for collaborative coding. You have collaborative document management, business intelligence collaboration, and a host of other productivity drivers. Serverless computing will be an exciting adoption area, even outside of tech. Okay, so serverless architecture enables a type of enterprise IT design where code is modular and isolated. So it is cloud computing execution model where resources are provided as per real-time demand assigned to each isolated module. And typically, serverless is limited to technology companies and platform providers who need to ensure maximum downtime for their products. You also have the fact that companies will struggle to keep cloud budgets in check. So this is actually a vital trend, one that has been persistent for the last 5 to 7 years. So on average, organizations waste around 30 to 35% of their total cloud spends, and optimizing cloud cost is a top priority for a lot of companies. And cloud will also power widespread AI adoption. Okay, this is something to really think about. And so artificial intelligence is increasingly in demand across all business horizontals and verticals. And cloud computing and the availability of cloud-hosted AI libraries, modeling engines, and algorithms will be crucial to its adoption. And finally, Microsoft will gradually catch up to Amazon, avoiding a market monopoly. Right now, Amazon Web Services (AWS) actually is has a de facto monopoly. Of course, Microsoft Azure and Google Cloud are recognized as good players also, but AWS has been rapidly gaining market share for some time. And so this is what it is. In conclusion to this conversation, I explained to you what cloud computing really is. I give you the generalities. I explained what cloud computing really is and the types of cloud computing, private, public, hybrid, IaaS, IaaS, PaaS, and SaaS, the value added, the trends, and the conclusion. Thank you so much. God bless you. I will see you next time. Until then, remember, stay marvelous.